All right, everybody, welcome back. Good late afternoon now. We've got more defensive tackles to take a look at here. We are firmly in the depth realm. These are guys you signed to be backups, and they don't play very much. Sometimes they don't play at all. But you are going to have to give them a little bit of money to do so. We're talking $2 million, usually a little bit less than that. They're just guys that you have around, break glass in case of emergency. And I'll say what I said before. If you're going to get a player on this tier, why not go get some rookie that at least has upside, that could be a happy surprise, that could end up being something better than that. And they usually cost less too because of the rookie contracts. But I mean, sometimes you don't have the time or resources to do that, I guess. So sometimes you go get a guy like this. So let's take a look at some options. Again, lightning round, we're going to go quick. Mike Pennel, excuse me. Kansas City Chief defensive tackle. I know he's big, by the way. I know he's like 330, but if you take a look at it, A-gap doesn't line up in A-gap that often. Started 7 games last year, but for the most part, he's been a pure reserve his whole career. Last year was kind of a breakout year for him in that he had 3 sacks, but it's not really a breakout year when you're 33, right? He's going to turn 34 in May. So age is becoming a thing. Been an important part of this Kansas City run. Took 2 years out of Kansas City to go to a couple different places, but found his way back in time for a Super Bowl. PFF thought he was quite good last year, 65.2 on 320 snaps. So, that's a little under 20 snaps a game. That's actually kind of in the range of what we're looking for here. Now, the year before he actually played significant snaps was 2022, because in 2023 he really didn't play that much. It was awful. They didn't like him at all, 363 snaps. So when you get to a player like this, especially at an age like this, you don't know what you're going to get. It's going to be random from year to year. Pennell, 1 year, $2 million. I mean, could do worse, I guess. I don't know. At this age, the cliff is coming, and he's already pretty far down the tier list anyway. The cliff is going to completely knock him out of any kind of relevant NFL player stuff. Jerry Tillery, former first-round pick, never really panned out the way people were hoping. Most recently, he's been a Viking. He's going to turn 29 in October, so age starting to sneak up on him a little bit, but he's still in his prime, in theory. Not that his prime means a ton. His best season was back in 2021, 4.5 sacks, but he's bounced around a bit, started with the Chargers, Raiders, Vikings this last year. Hey, he started 11 games for a really good Vikings defense. Credit where credit's due to him for that. But in terms of his actual individual performance, it doesn't seem like it was anything particularly stand out. It seemed like he was kind of along for the ride there. PFF 51.6. It's hard to have a PFF grade this bad on a defense as good as the Vikings. So that tells you something about what they think of him. Not much. 470 snaps or so. Year before that was good, right? 2023 was better, 67.7 on 500 snaps. So you do have occasional little signs of competency, but he's just not worth much at this point, and there's no market value page for him. But I assume at this point, given the fact that he got a Vikings contract of 2.75, you're probably looking at like 1 year, $2 million, maybe even a little bit less at this point. He'll be happy to still be in the league, but at this point, this shines off the apple, and he's just a backup. He's just a depth piece, and you would prefer he not play more than 10 snaps a game, really. Jordan Phillips, another big guy. Again, I want to stress, just because you're big doesn't mean you're a nose tackle. This guy, in recent years, has not played a lot in the A-gap. 330 pounds, going to turn 33 in September. So age is starting to become a factor for him big time. Had a pretty long career. Dolphin, Bill, Cardinal, Bill again, Cowboys, Bills again. Back, forth, up, down, left, right. Keeps finding his way back to Buffalo. But he's getting to the end of the line here for sure. He does have his size. I guess he'll always have that until he's like, 60. But for the moment, he's still very big. That definitely doesn't make him good. He's going the way of a Jonathan Hankins, 43 PFF grade on 143 snaps. So even being used less than 10 snaps a game is not helping him. Previous year was worse, 35.8 on about 400 snaps. So doesn't really seem to matter that much. He's just not effective from snap to snap anymore. Really bad run defense grade in particular in 2023, which is a little disappointing when you consider the fact that he's a bigger guy. Spotrac goes 1 year, 1.7 million. I guess you're paying by the pound, right? He's such a big guy, but I don't know if that size is even helping him anymore. This is not a situation where I even feel like he's a trash can full of dirt. He's just a trash can. Sorry, no offense if you watch this video, Jordan Phillips, but yeah, Austin Johnson, another veteran turning 31 in a couple months here. Been around the league, former second round pick, Titan, Giant, Charger, Bill, bouncing around the league, trying to find a home. As recently as 2023, he was a full-time starter, but age being what it is, and the fact that he was never a great player to begin with, should definitely not look to him to be anything more than depth. He started 17 games in 2023 and had 0 sacks. That's not easy to do for any player. 55.8 PFF grade last year. Tolerable for a backup, but that's about it. 300 snaps. That's about where you'd like him to be. Much worse the previous year. Probably played too much. 641 snaps, but his PFF grade was bottom of the barrel, or very close. 45.7. So I'm not too excited about this one. Neither is Spotrac. They give him 1 year, 1.7 million. Not much to say. He's okay. If you're going to get a player of this caliber, go get me a UDFA who I'm paying not even half this, right? The cap hit on a UDFA first year would be like half this at most. Benito Jones, younger guy, just turned 27 a couple months ago. He's been actually a starter the last 2 years. He started for the Lions defense and he started for the Dolphins defense last year. So maybe there's a little something here, but even though he started, you'd be hard-pressed to say that he was playing particularly well, right? PFF docked him heavily for 2024. They thought he was a pretty poor starter, one of the worst starters in football on almost 500 snaps. So it's not like they were overworking him. That's 30 snaps a game, approximately. Not even. Yeah, not even 30 snaps a game. So it's not that. It's just he didn't seem to play that well, and the year before that was even worse. And maybe he played a little too much this year. It was 570 snaps a game. So that's pretty forgettable, but 37.4, that indicates a player that is just kind of holding on for dear life out there rather than positively affecting the game. Spotrac, no market value page, but I think you're looking at like 1 year, 1.5 million. And look, he just turned 27. Maybe he's about to play his best football, but he has a long way to go to be even like a plus player. Like at this point, he's a minus player, it seems like, and he's gonna maybe get to the point where he's like a minus player. But again, like, can I get that somewhere else for even a little bit less than 1.5 million? Probably. Quentin Jefferson, Q. Remember Quentin Jefferson? You should. He's been a Seahawk 2 different times in the last 10 years. Spent his first 4 years in Seattle, was actually a starter. Started for the Raiders for 1 year. Started for the Jets for 1 year, actually just a couple years ago, but 2024, he kind of settled into a backup role across 2 different teams, was on the Browns, was on the Bills, played 12 games, didn't start any of them. So you're talking about a player here who his best days were not radically amazing, but they were something, and now it looks like they're kind of behind him. So he's just a about to be 32-year-old defensive tackle who can play at a approximately replacement level range, maybe. PFF says not even that. 50.5 last year on 252 snaps, 52.8 on almost 470 snaps the year before that. So not really anything indicating he can be good. Just indications that he could be adequate. 1 year, 1.4 million. I mean, that's about right. At least he knows what's up. At least he's a longtime veteran. He's been in this league almost a decade, but I don't know if that's worth the downside here, because there is downside when you get these players that are 32 and 33, 34. You've got nothing but, the cliff could be coming any second now. And sometimes Calais Campbell happens. Most of the time it doesn't. Okay, Khalil Davis, kind of in his prime, I guess. Going to turn 29 in August. Bounced around the league a little bit. Won a Super Bowl with Tampa as a rookie, even though he didn't really do anything. Was a decent rotational piece in Houston in 2023. And then last year, he kind of faded. Was on the Texans, went to the Niners. Didn't really do anything either location, and Now, off of a season where he basically gave you nothing, he's just hoping to find a job. PFF, below average, 54.9 on 210 snaps. Like, that's not exciting. Year before that was manageable, so this is probably a capable player. He's probably about replacement level, which I guess that's okay. If that's all you want, and that's all you're willing to pay for, then you can get that. 420 snaps in 2023, by the way, so decent enough year. He just didn't build on it at all. And there's no market value page for him, so coming off a year where he didn't do anything on a career where he hasn't really done much, I think it's like 1 year 1.5, 1 year 1.4. I don't think it's going to be very much at all. There's no reputation here. There's no pedigree here. Just a guy. Final guy, mjseahawk. mjseahawk, young player, right? He's going to turn 26 in July, so he's still quite young. Spent some time in Jacksonville, and then has actually become a decent depth piece for the Bengals. Doesn't play a lot, but he has been a part of proceedings these last few years. And PFF really did not like his 2024, 44.4 on 242 snaps. They didn't like his 2023 much either. Only 96 snaps, though, not even 100, so it's not a super a good sample size to look at here. Excuse me. But very much a player that you have on your team because he just barely meets the threshold of what you need to be an NFL player, and you hope he never has to get on the field. But overall, when he's gotten on the field, the results haven't been all that good. Spotrac says basically the minimum 1 year, 1.1 million. I mean, sure. Even a UDFA is only going to be a little cheaper than that. So, okay. Why not? But all this stuff is kind of blending together now, right? There are a few guys that I don't like in this group, but for the most part, everyone's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And that's it for 3 techs. That's it for defensive tackles. Moving on to a new position tomorrow. Let me know what you think. See you guys later. Go Hawks.